looks so cool too. Like, I love the glowing eyes. Oh god. Girsha just fucking bodied her. She did not stand a chance. Jesus. Oh. See, and I can't wait. I'm a little too excited to see what comes next. So we see the brutality of Girsha, and then also the softness in Girsha, like, parallel to each other. Because we saw him just body this woman, but now also, you know, fall apart like this when he sees his son's memory, you know? So I feel like that's very good. That's very good. Oh, he did much more than that, I think. Yeah, so he did it anyway because, yeah, exactly, because of what he saw. He looks so, like, deadpan. Yeah, I know! This is what I'm saying! This is all Zeke's fault by accident! Yeah, when he kissed Historia's hand! Right! Right! So he knew that this would happen. Okay! Wait, no, but I guess he does still have power over her. I thought that, like, I thought she was bullshitting. But he can do it. Fuck. No, but Zeke can't win. He's not. Oh, fuck, his hands, his hands. Go, 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 go. I was thinking if Eren could touch her, could he not regain control? Maybe. Unless, I don't know. I don't believe that. Oh, cute. So we're seeing Historia and Freedom. Oh, she's like a little baby. Who's the girl? Is it a princess? Oh, that's Ymir, though, isn't it? Is this like Ymir's past? Ooh, like little Viking helmets. Oh, and everyone's dead. Well, oh dear. Oh. So this is what happened in her time. This is so fucked up. Oh, they cut her tongue out? Is that why she's not saying anything to them? Oh, see, okay, so the women that were taken are being married off. Is that what happened? Oh. This is so fucked up, man. And they all blamed her! Why? Did she even do it? But she can't defend herself. This is so fucked up, man. Oh, the blood on the flowers, like in the song, in the end song. Oh, the tree. This is weird, man. I'll talk about this more during the discussion, but forests tend to be liminal spaces in fairy tales. And now she's fallen somewhere, like down the rabbit hole. So that's interesting that they're using that sort of thing, like a liminal space. Like she went into the forest and now she'll become more than what she was before. What the fuck is that? It's the paths. I think the paths connected to her, but what the fuck? That was just chilling in the earth? Okay. Okay. So she fell down the tree and became the Titan. Oh, because now they saw what she could turn into, and now she's being forced to fight for them. Oh, no, we don't want it. Oh, my God. Yeah, so she wasn't even from Eldia, like, in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, she was enslaved by the Eldians. Oh, just like Historia sitting in the chair. That's fucked, man. And all of their eyes being like this, too. So she was enslaved by them, and then she was forced to fight for them. Oh, shit! Someone's gonna assassinate the king, bro? Fuck! just wanted an excuse to die. Maybe she didn't want to live that way anymore. She was basically being used to produce heirs. So maybe she wanted to die. Yeah, see? She was like, I just want to get out of here. This is a easy way to die. Wait, so they were all forced to eat the mom? What? Oh, and that's what the walls are named after. This is so fucked, bro. What the fuck? So she did die, and then the paths continued. Right. The spine, to get the spinal fluid, so they figured it out. Come on, Ymir. Haven't you been forced long enough? Why listen to Zeke? Do what you want. Oh, is she making the titans of her children? Like, she's making all the titans there with the sand, right? With the sand in the water. See, and like, she didn't ask, okay? She didn't ask for the magical thing in the river to do that to her. Oh. Yeah, you tell her, Eren, please! Save this little child! Oh. He's touching someone with royal blood, right? Because she's Ymir, she has royal blood, doesn't she? So yeah, it doesn't matter! Fuck you, Zeke! You may be a descendant, but he is touching her, so isn't that how it works? Now she'll listen to Eren because Eren's touching her. Eren gets precedent, doesn't he? Yes! Her eyes have opened! Let's go! Good job, Ymir! See, she's just a little kid! She just needed someone, you know? Yeah, what the fuck was all that about, by the way? Oh, shit! Okay, we're just gonna stick Eren's head back on! Oh, man! Okay, so that must have been part of Eren's plan! Fuck, bro! So Eren put himself back together just like I thought he would! Oh, fuck, the walls are breaking! Oh, man, is the rumbling happening now? Oh, Peck! Yeah, they're gonna be in trouble, too! They're on the wall! Oh, be careful, guys. Bro, I love how Gabby and them must have just saw Eren's head fall off only for it to get put on again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Connie and John definitely saw that, and then they just like they put him back. Fuck. Okay, so the rumbling is just happening. It's just happening. Like, not even a small scale. Like, we're just going for it, okay? Oh my lord. Yeah, look at this. Look at. Oh my god, this is so cool. Oh, the cage. That's what the spine is, like, in the opening. Fuck. Oh my god, the water, too. Yeah, when coming into contact with something. What the fuck was something, bro? By the way, that was sus as fuck. I mean, I guess there may not be a scientific explanation. It may just be magic. Oh, good! They won! Yay! Yay! Yeah! So Eren didn't go with Zeke's plan. So now they know. Good! Yay! Good for them! Nice! Yeah! See? You guys doubted him, but like, Eren was okay. Wait, what? Yeah, the walls are coming down because the Titans. Oh, see, he took down all the walls. So he's crushing everybody. Uh-oh. Okay, maybe Eren's not doing good things. Oh? Is that Eren talking to them? What? Okay. Yeah. Even in other places, he wants them all to come to Paradise, right? crazy for them. Oh, Historia. So come to the island. So they have to come to the island or they'll die. Is that what Eren's planning? I mean, I knew he probably wanted to destroy the world or something. That's what I thought, but like, what if that's why he's addressing them? He's like, everybody has to come to the island. You will be safe on the island. Like, he's planning to wipe out the rest of the world except for all of the Eldians. So all of the Eldians need to make their way to Paradise. Oh, well. Okay. Thaw. Annie, come on, Annie. All right, everyone, let us get into the discussion now. And the first thing I want to say, like, I know that this happened at the end, but I don't care. I need to say it before I explode. Annie could have heard what Eren said because she is a subject of Ymir, right? And the next episode is called Thaw. And then in the opening, we see Annie, like, she's doing her little breathy thing, right? As if she's been encased in ice. Like, she goes, like, her little cold breath, like, when you breathe, like, when it's, like, you know, negative, like, under 0 degrees and, like, the air is freezing and stuff. I don't know why I needed to explain all this. You guys are human, you understand? You've been on Earth. I'm, like, trying to explain the cold to aliens. Anyway, my point being, right, if Annie heard what Eren said, and the next episode is called Thaw, what if we see Annie next episode? Because she's like, okay, like, damn, okay, go off, Eren, right? She's just like, oh man, stuff is going on up there. I guess I should best go see what is going on, if you want to say it like that. And so, yeah, I'm so excited if that is the case. And I wonder, too, like, what side is she gonna be on? Is she gonna be like, you know, Eren's gonna destroy the world, Reiner, so, like, and, you know, Berthold's dead, like, do you know when to phone it in, right? Like, I wonder if she'll be on Eren's side, or if she'll go back and have, you know, some loyalty to Reiner. It's really up in the air, isn't it? Because if you got a message from Eren, knowing everything that Annie knows about Eren at this point, like, since she went into, like, her frozen, you know, diamond thingy, like, knowing everything she knows, hearing Eren basically say, I have the power to destroy the world, like, what side would you pick ultimately after hearing that? So I feel like that Annie, I've predicted her to be this wild card where we don't really know, and so I'm really excited to see, like, how much we don't know, you know? And so we start this episode with the fight. I'm gonna put fight in quotation marks because this girl literally got bodied. And then afterwards we see the same scene we did last episode, and I think that the purpose of this really was to see the brutality of Gersha. You guys got on my ass last week. Gersha, not Gersha. I know, but I can't. It's too late. And we're probably not going to talk about him very much in the future, so forgive me. Anyway. And so I think that the point was to see the brutality of Eren's father compared to the softness of Eren's father, right? You see, like, he is, like, you know, tearing this woman's limbs off, right, in this shot, and, like, his eyes are glowing, and he's kind of like this, like, he's a very burly man kind of Titan, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but he's, like, very Bigfoot looking, if that makes sense, right? Like, how I imagine, like, Bigfoot, and so you see, like, the brutality of Eren's father, but then also, like, the vulnerability of Eren's father. So that's why I think that they started that episode this way, because we got to see those two sides contrasted, right? The Gersha who has regret, clearly, I never imagined it would be so terrible, and that is comparative to the Gersha that had, you know, no fucks, if you want to call it that was in a rage because of what Eren said and what Eren told him to do. I thought this sarcasm was kind of funny. It's like, but bro, we haven't seen the part where I ate him, you know? Like, I think he was kind of being sarcastic, like he was kind of bullying Zeke a little bit, and now what's interesting about this is Zeke is kind of realizing it all. Like, he thought that Eren's father brainwashed him, but all along, Eren has been the one brainwashing people. Yeah, and so I love this conversation between them, like how they're like, oh yeah, like Gersha hesitated to carry out the mission, but he changed his mind because of you, right? And so now we're getting all those reveals of stuff that I speculated about last episode, and I was right. I'm grateful, brother. This was only possible because you brought me into Dad's memories, right? Because he basically had like a coordinate knowing when to send the memories at what points in time because of Zeke, right? And so this is kind of all Zeke's fault. And like, I think people are still kind of confused about this, but the way that I am going to explain it is that Eren is eternal. Like, Eren in this realm is timeless. He's not mortal anymore. And so they kind of say, like, past manipulation, like Zeke saying, like, oh yeah, like, it's, you, altered the past, right? Like, that's how Zeke is phrasing it. So I guess you could think of it that way, but I'm more thinking of it that Eren is a timeless being. And so this always happened because Eren existed at all periods of time, right? And I don't think we're done with that yet. So I think that Zeke's like alter the past thing. I think that he's close, but it's not exactly like that. It's not really about altering the past, but rather Eren always existed. And so those moments in time always existed. And so, yeah, again, does it really matter? Like, whatever explanation you want. If you want to think that Eren altered the past, right? And like that another course of action would have happened, like if Eren did not manipulate Gearsha, like I guess you could, like it's not a big deal, you know what I mean? But I think that like that's not exactly correct because it's more like Eren exists outside of time. And so in terms of the actual timeline of the show, Eren did not change anything in the past. The past always happened because Eren was always there. You know what I'm saying? Like if Gearsha did this in the year 800, again, let's just pretend Eren was always here in the year 800 to send that message to him, right? So it always got to him. It didn't change the past. The past always happened because even though like they're experiencing this now, like there is no time. Like time doesn't exist. Time is boundless, right? And so yeah. Again, a little confusing, but I feel like this is important, especially because I feel like we're not done with this yet. Like, we still haven't heard about, like, what about the other Attack Titans? Like, how far back has Eren manipulated people? You know what I mean? Like, what if it wasn't just Gearsha? What if it was, like, like, who knows? Like, who knows who it was before, right? So I feel like that, you know, we could get more of this where it's like, who were the past Attack Titans before Kruger and Eren's dad? Like, we could still see him manipulating more people over time. So Zeke does the command, and this seems to throw Eren off guard a little bit, right? Because he's like, oh shit, like she's zooming, you know what I mean? Like she's still moving, she's still listening to Zeke. But I love this scene, and I feel like this is so smart, and I'm gonna tell you why. I love this too, because like, you know, we get that sort of like, what do you call it, those lines? Like everybody in Ymir's flashback thing has those lines, and it's just like shadow, right? But they have that shadow over their eyes all the time, and I think it's a metaphor. And so now to see Zeke have that for like a moment, it's almost like he's resigning himself. It's almost like, fuck, like, yeah, Gearsha regretted listening to you. It's like, if this is a hopeless expression, the people in Ymir's flashback always have that hopeless expression, right? But I think this was so badass of Eren. Like, this was so cool. He literally, like, rips out his hands. You're just as powerless as ever. Oh, come on, Zeke. We know better than that. And so I think here's what happened, right? Could this have been Ymir of her own free will? Maybe, but I actually had a different interpretation of this scene, right? Even though Eren has the founding titan power, Zeke takes precedent because he has royal blood. However, you know who also has royal blood? Doesn't Ymir have royal blood? Like, the whole concept of royal blood is Ymir, which puts this in a very interesting light because we haven't actually gotten there yet. Like, we're gonna go into the flashback sequence in a minute, but think about it this way, okay? If the whole hierarchy here is founding titan, royal blood, Eren, who has the founding titan power, touches someone with royal blood. So does that not mean that he takes hierarchy, he outranks Zeke by touching Ymir? Because you could say maybe this is of her own free will. That like Eren, like, what do you call it? Talk no jutsu? Anyway, like when you talk and don't fight. Could Eren have talked to not fight her? Like basically talked her out of her circumstances, made her want to fight for freedom, right? That he gave her the empowerment that she doesn't need to listen to Zeke. Sure, that could be possible, but the fact that we get a memory flashback here, that to me would indicate that when they touched, Eren may have seen like her memories, like, you know, like when he touches other people, or like when Historia touches the letter from Ymir and then sees like everything that Ymir went through and all of that stuff. So I'm sort of thinking that it may be a bit more like up in the air. Like, what if Eren touching Ymir outranked the hierarchy because Eren has the founding titan power and then he's touching someone of royal blood, right? And so what if that's what it is? I think it would be cool if she does be willed to fight of her own volition, obviously, but I think it's even more interesting if she thinks that she was willed to fight of her own volition, but instead it's because Eren told her to, and by touching her, Eren could now control her. And then we get a scene with Historia and Frida, and we really see like the propaganda-ness of the Ymir story, right? Because they're like, oh, what does being ladylike mean, right? Like she has a little snot out of her nose, and Frida's like, you can't do that, you gotta be ladylike, you gotta be like this girl, right? And like, the whole thing is that they don't know, like, the true history. It's been made into a fairy tale where Ymir's kind of like this goddess princess, right? But that's not reality. Like, what we actually see, she's always thinking about other people because she's so kind, and it's like, it's not necessarily like that at all, right? So here's what I take from this backstory. Ymir was just a girl. She was just big chillin'. You know, she was probably living with, like, we see these two kids here and Grandma, and, like, Grandma gets some heightened significance, like, in terms of, like, a shot, like, we see that Grandma is dead. So I'm assuming, you know, she's just living with her siblings and Grandma. Her parents may be dead. She may kind of be, like, in an orphan situation, and this Grandma is, like, taking care of them. I mean, even back in, like, this Attack on Titan isn't historical, right? But, like, they're clearly trying to take historical references, and so I would say that we can argue, like, even in this time period, it was very common for children to just kind of be raised by the community, right? Especially if their parents were dead, but even if their parents were alive, right? So this may just be like the town grandma that watches all the kids, because that was pretty common back in those days, right? For like the community to raise the children, like not necessarily like just like, you know, if you don't have parents, you're screwed, right? Like in these sorts of situations, or like if your parents are like working in the field or something, like you're fucked, right? Like in these sorts of towns, like somebody would take care of like the children in a commutative way, even if they weren't all related. And so yeah, we also see like some foreshadowing, or you could also call it I don't want to say a parallel, but like she's pouring the water in the bucket now and she does that again later, right? So then we see that they see people coming over the horizon. And this is the first big, I feel, I don't want to call it a mic drop. I don't know how to phrase this exactly, but like, she's not Eldian, right? Like, she's not even Eldian, not really. And so I feel like that, like, the next thing Eren should do is get rid of the Eldia restorationalists, because really they should rebrand to, like, the people of Ymir or something, because, like, they're not Eldian. Like, Eldian was the Empire, right? Like, this Empire, but, like, they were not Eldian. They were enslaved by the people of Eldia. And so in this way, like, they are no better than Marley, I would argue. You know what I mean? Like, in this way, the Eldian Empire that we see in this episode is not any better than Marley. And I understand, like, probably what happened is that, like, all of the Titans descended from, like, the royalty in Eldia, and so that's how the Eldians got their name and stuff. It's kind of like, you know, a lost history type of thing, but we see as the audience in this episode, she's not even Eldian. Not really. Like, I guess you could say there's Eldian, like, the race of people, like the subjects of Ymir, and then Eldians as in this nation that we see in this episode. And so what I'm saying is she's not Eldian as in part of the nation, right? Like, and I feel like that's kind of important for things going forward, because we should probably do away with all this Eldian restorational thing, because we don't want to restore Eldia. Eldia was bad. Eldia enslaved Ymir in the first place, and I sort of wonder if, like, Eren will get to that or not, like, you know what I mean? Because did he see Ymir's memory when he touched her, or is this just the audience seeing it? We don't know. I'm inclined to think that Eren is seeing it, just because of, like, you know, past history would dictate that when he touches people, or when somebody of royal blood touches something that one of the Titan holders had once, like, you know what I mean? Like, memory sharing exists. And yeah, so here we see that the grandma has been killed, right? Because again, like, historically, in these sorts of situations, right, like, you don't need the old people. Like, that's how people thought. Not how I think, okay? I'm just saying, like, historically, it's like we need the able-bodied young people, because we are literally taking slaves, which is so fucked up. And, like, what's even more fucked up here is that we see, like, these people are getting their tongues cut out. So these are the people of this town who are just minding their own fucking business, and now, like, they've been enslaved and their tongues are being cut. and you see somebody push her to the front, whether that's a guard or whether that's like one of the other, I don't know, one of her, the people from her village, because like now, like everybody is basically against her. Like they throw her under the bus the first chance that they get to save themselves. And obviously, like if you're in that sort of situation, like all of these people have lost hope. They're basically broken, right? And we can see that by like the eye thing on their face. So I can't like, you know what I mean? You can't judge them too much because like you haven't been in their situation. They're basically brainwashed. But that's the first thing I thought of too, was like her own like fellow like brethren like sold her out in this episode, like sold out a child. Like nobody's willing to take an eye like for an innocent child. But like it's kind of unclear whether or not she actually left the pig pan open, right? So some people may be like, oh well, she actually did it, so what's the point in saving her skin, right? But like if she didn't do it, that's kind of even worse, right? If she didn't do it and they threw her under the bus anyway, right? So we can even see like in terms of like the society of it, there is no I don't want to, how do you say, there's no valiance. There's no like, I will sacrifice myself for this kid. You know what I mean? I will take her place because that's the right thing to do. Like this girl doesn't deserve it, right? There's none of that among here. And so yeah, this is fucked up too, because like at first I was like, oh, it's a wedding, but it's not a wedding. It's kind of like a slave auction, because you can actually see, I think that those are the ropes around her neck or something. I don't know. I feel like there was something sus about this. I feel like this may have not been a real wedding. I feel like that this was like that he married one of the enslaved women, and then that was foreshadowing to the fact that when she grows up and when she gets old enough, she too will be married off to one of like the male soldiers, because that's also like something that happened in some like historical societies and stuff. Like you would take like the women and they would like be married off to the men of the place that had conquered. You know what I mean? I don't know if ancient Rome or ancient Greece did this explicitly. Like history is not my subject. I've only, like the only history that I know is because of like the context of other things, if that makes sense. Like when I studied fairy tales, and when I studied some other stuff. Anyway, it's not that important. But what I'm saying is, like, say for example, like Rome like conquered a town, right? Like they would take all the women and all the men of the town. The men would be put to work, and then like the women would be married off sometimes. Again, I'm not saying that Rome actually did that. I'm just using that as an example, right? Because we don't know, or at least I don't know. Maybe you guys know, but I'm just saying that that was, you know, it was a common thing to have happened to a degree, right? And so I feel like that's what could have happened here, is that, you know, one of the female slaves were married off, and then Ymir is kind of like, oh shit, that's gonna be me in a couple of years. Like, that's gonna be my fate. Actually, I just had an idea. About something, and I sort of wonder if this could be the case. So first of all, this man right here with Ymir, right? Like he's looking pretty sus, and then we see him again like in the pig pen area. So maybe he was the one that did it, first of all. Like maybe he did it. He left the pig pen open, and then he didn't own up to it. He threw her under the bus. Because isn't that the same man? They have the same bun anyway. Like the man that she's walking with right here, and the man that is like, you know, holding the axe. So what if it's supposed to be implied that he did it and he wouldn't fess up to it, right? Or like, you know, he threw her under the bus for it. That's actually very interesting, because that means that it wasn't her fault and someone else did it. But the thing that just occurred to me, what if she did it on purpose to die? And I know that that sounds a little like, right? But like that is what happens later. Like I don't think that she threw herself in front of the king because she liked him, right? Obviously she doesn't. She was forced to marry him, right? I think she threw herself in front of the king because she wanted to die. Like she wanted to commit a socially acceptable way of suicide where she would be seen as a martyr, right? Where he wouldn't be able to like, you know, I don't want to say get mad at her because she'd already be dead, but you know what I mean? Like there's a difference between throwing yourself in front of a king like, oh, how noble that Ymir would sacrifice her life for our beloved king, right? Like people would talk about her like that versus if she just like ran away and like drowned herself or something. So since she has that tendency later on, right, or at least a tendency that I picked up on, that's what I think happened. I think she threw herself in front of the king on purpose, not to save his life, but to end her own, right? Period, okay? And so, yeah, so now here, what if she did this on purpose? What if she left the pig pen open because she was like, I'm not going to be married off to some, like, to one of those soldiers that destroyed my home and enslaved my people, I would literally rather die, right? So I wonder, could she have done it on purpose, right? But then she also doesn't fess up for it because, like, you know, she gets pointed at instead. But she accepts that she's the one that let it escape, right? She doesn't, I don't know. It's weird because she could be not arguing because she's not supposed to. She's been, like, literally probably beaten into not disagreeing with the king. She can't speak up because she has no tongue, right? And so what's interesting is that if she did do it, she could be accepting it because this is what she wanted to happen. If she didn't do it, she could be accepting it because she has resigned herself, right? But if the other guy did it, she could always point and say that he did it, but all these people pointed and said that she did it. So yeah, it's complicated. We don't know if she accepted it because she wanted to resign herself to this fate, because she felt like she had to resign herself, because she felt like there was no point in fighting back, because those are two different things, right? Like, I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I'm just presenting you guys with ideas, right? Maybe that dude did it and she just was like, it's hopeless to argue, right? Or she did do it and she wanted this to happen. She wanted to be, like, freed. You know, she wanted to die, basically. And so I'm sort of like, I don't know, I'm like in between the two, but it's up to your interpretation, obviously. But I'm more inclined to think at least that the man left the pig pen open because we see him in his little bun, right? The guy that was around with Ymir. So I think that he did it and he just didn't want to take the blame for it. And so he may be the first one that pointed the finger at her, and then everyone else just agreed, and she just resigned herself to that fate, because what is she gonna do? Argue about it, right? That's probably not allowed. So I think that maybe that's what happened, because she does seem to want to live, right? And I don't know, that's complicated too, because you may not know you want to live until you are faced with death, right? And so it's hard to tell one way or the other. But I think it would be interesting if she did this on purpose, like after seeing that girl get married off or whatever, she was like, nope, I don't want that to be me. So she did something to anger the king on purpose to get, like, exiled in a way. Because maybe even she thought, like, she goes into this tree. Maybe she thought she could hide from them. Maybe she thought that she could escape long enough and live. Because, like, they, you know, they're hunting her down in this scene. But it's also possible, like, what if she thought that she could escape? You know, that she could run away. And so maybe she did leave the pig pen on purpose to get the opportunity to run away from them. I don't know. There's lots of different interpretations that you could take, right? So she falls into the water here, which reminds me of something, but I don't know what. It reminds me of Kingdom Hearts a little bit, but not that. Like, it reminds me of an Attack on Titan OP specifically. Now, let's talk about this thing, okay? What the fuck is this? Now, we know, like, I think that we actually see the card. It's like, some people think it's a parasite. Some people think it's the source of all living matter. Like, right? So some people, like, obviously have speculated throughout history in Attack on Titan. Will we ever know what the fuck this was? I don't think so. Like, I feel like that we won't, and I just say that because, like, there's always the mystery, right? There's always the intrigue as the viewer. You want to know, where the fuck did this come from? You know what I mean? You want to know. You want to know, like, what is the origin of this, though? Like, you know, there's more questions, and you keep asking questions. But then, like, there becomes a point where it may just be like, magic, bro, you know? God, like, you know, like, there may not be an actual explanation that the show ever gives for it. Oh, this just occurred to me. The other thing I wanted to talk about was liminal spaces. So, something I find interesting with Ymir going into the tree and then falling down the tree into the water is that, like, it's a very fairy tale framing of things. Forests and fairy tales usually serve as, like, a transitional space. Like, Little Red Riding Hood goes into the woods and she comes out of the woods, like, with, you know, knowledge now. Don't trust the wolves, sort of thing. Jack goes up the beanstalk, right? Gets the giant's gold, fights the giant, and then comes back down the beanstalk. Like, stuff like that in fairy tales, it's called a liminal space, I think, where the character enters, or like even Alice in Wonderland, she goes down the rabbit hole and then she comes back and she's a changed person from the adventure she had, right? And so, yeah, there's lots of fairy tale stories that do that. Even like Disney stuff, Beauty and the Beast. Maurice goes into the forest. The forest is a liminal space. On the other end of the forest, he finds Beast Castle, right? Belle goes into that same forest, finds Beast Castle. It's like a whole thing, right? And so what I find interesting is that they've used that device of Ymir going into the forest, falling down the rabbit hole, like very similarly to Alice in Wonderland, right? Into the water, and then in the water is where she meets the thing that will change her life, right? It's that, like, again, it's that, like, you go into the forest and you find, like, the magic, you know what I mean? Or you find, like, there's something in there that changes things. For Jack, the gold and the giant and, like, all of that stuff, right? And so I think that that's really fascinating that they're using that here, because she goes into the forest one way and she comes out of the forest different, and even physically different than she was before. She has changed because of her time in the woods, right? So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. I needed to get that out before I forgot that that was a literary point that I wanted to make. But yeah, in terms of what the fuck this is, I feel like they're never gonna tell us. I feel like that it's just gonna be like, it was magic, bro. You know, because like there may not be an explanation, you know what I mean? What explanation is there for literally getting to be God? Or like something having godlike powers? Like maybe this is God, maybe this is the fabric of the earth and stuff. But you know what would be fucking weird and like possibly impossible? Like what if Eren did this? Like, you know what I mean? Because I know that this would cause a paradox, because like Eren would need the founder's power to create the founder's power, and that may be complicated, but like what if the big twist is that Eren's the one that made this? Like Eren's the one that made, like, even if it's not like big like magical bullshit, you know what I mean? Like what if it's literally a parasite and that Eren created the parasite to be here for when Ymir fell in the water, because Eren is now seeing her memories? But wouldn't she know that? Because that would cause like a little inception thingy, right? But like what if that'd be crazy. Imagine that. Imagine Eren went with Zeke into the coordinate area, and through touching Ymir was able to tell Ymir to create the thing that would make her do the thing later. Like, I feel like that would be kind of crazy, and like I feel like that would cause a paradox. But if Ymir can make anything, she could make this and send it back to her past self. Okay, well anyway, so yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense, but it would be very interesting if Eren literally did all of this, because what if this is Eren answering her prayer, or I guess her message or something, right? Because it's like, to you 2,000 years ago, from you 2,000 years ahead, or whatever it is. So what if like this was the answer? Like Eren was like, I will give you the Titan powers, and then in the future, I will save you. Okay, well, anyway, that I feel like that they're maybe onto something with that, but it could just be like, this existed before Eren, because how would that work? Right? Because it would cause a paradox, wouldn't it? Because if Eren needs the Founding Titan's power and like Ymir to do anything anyway, like, you know what I mean? That may not make total sense, but like the time travel stuff is already kind of not making sense. So I don't know, I feel like it could be possible. And so yeah, now like Ymir is basically being used by Eldia, right, to kill people, right, and like I guess expand their empire. As my reward, I shall give you my seed. I just love this shot because it's just so slimy, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, she doesn't fucking want that, bro, like, you know what I mean? And so yeah, I think that this was just fucked up because, again, they call them Eldians, but the truth about Eldia is that, like, Ymir was enslaved by Eldia, so they should not be calling it Eldia anymore. I think that maybe that will be the next step, is, like, we're not Eldians. We're the subjects of Ymir, okay? Like, I feel like that's where it will go, and this is nice contrast. I shouldn't say nice, but, like, literarily, this is nice contrast to Historia sitting in the rocking chair. That's what I'm trying to get at, and I wonder if there was even a scene where we thought it was Historia sitting in the rocking chair, but maybe it like flashed to Ymir sitting in the rocking chair for like a split second. Like, that would be pretty cool if in the past that may have happened, right? And you just see like all of their eyes are covered, right? Like by that shade, and it's the same shade that Zeke has when he closes his eyes. So I'm like, is this like resigning themselves? But then everybody in the flashback has that, even the king. So maybe it's just one of those like anime shadow things, you know what I mean? That she doesn't want to remember, that she doesn't remember because it's been so long. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It's sort of weird because the king has that too, so I wouldn't say that it's necessarily like, I thought it was, oh, the slaves have that because they have resigned to themselves. They have been brainwashed, but like even they all have it. So I don't know. I don't know why exactly, right? But yeah, and so this guy tries to assassinate the king, and she jumps in front of the way, right? And I don't think that she did this, because at first when I saw it, I'm like, bro, why are you dying for this man, right? Like, you know what I mean? But when people are in abusive situations like that, they can do things like that. So even my first instinct was kind of wrong in the first place, like to say that. Like, it would make sense for her to do that because she has been brainwashed, like, to this degree, right? As, you know, as a person, for her who has been, like, basically abused to the highest degree and manipulated by the king, right? But I actually don't think that she did it out of, like, you know, loyalty to him or anything. I think she wanted to die, and again, she just wanted an acceptable way to die, right? Like, she will be seen as a martyr who sacrificed herself for their king, right? But instead, right, she wanted this to happen. She wanted to escape, and so she took the opportunity to escape, right? That's what I think actually happened. She didn't want to sacrifice herself for the king. She didn't care about the king. She wanted a way out, and that presented her with one. And this is just super fucked because they're literally cannibalizing their own mom, right? Because he doesn't know it's the spinal fluid or anything, right? And so now they get the power, and like it passes on. The question is why it stopped at 9, I guess, like why it stopped to only be 9 Titan powers and stuff, because like, I mean, I guess everyone has the potential to be Titans though. Like everyone that descends from Ymir has the potential to be Titans, which means maybe they all like ate from the spinal fluid, like, you know what I mean? So I don't know how that works exactly, but I guess maybe that's why there are so many paths, because everybody is connected. Like everyone who has ever existed was connected, like, to Ymir. And so yeah, like maybe it's not just, maybe the spinal fluid is for the unique Titans that have been created, but in general, like everybody, like all of the Eldians that are subjects of Ymir and have Ymir's blood also have genetically a bit of that spinal fluid, and that's how they're able to turn into like just the pure blood Titans. But you need to ingest the actual spinal fluid to create like the unique Titans. And so I wonder, I don't know, I wonder what happened to only stop at 9 exactly. But yeah, you just see she's like creating, and this is so fucked too, like the head thing that she's doing. She just seems so in pain and exhausted and tormented, right? I think that's so fucked up, right? And so he says, I'll end it. I'll put an end to this world. Give me your strength. You're not a slave. You're not a god. You're just a person. And I feel like that even though Eren's done some, like, bad things, he wants to destroy the world. It's not great, okay? Like, I can even say that Eren wanting to destroy the world and kill all of the innocent people of the world, probably not great, right? But, like, Eren still has a good heart, question mark. I say that with the most, like, grain of salt, if that makes sense. Like, Eren still has a good heart, though. This is ultimately for his plan, so, like, who knows how genuine he is, I guess. Actually, that's true. I don't know if this is genuine then. I don't know. I want to believe that it's genuine. I want to believe that this is not just part of Eren's plan, but that Eren wants this girl to genuinely be free. And so, yeah, it's kind of up in the air, right? Like, which one of that is, right? If he's just saying it to get her power, or if he's saying it because he means it. But, like, think about Eren fundamentally, right? Because Eren isn't a monster. Like, I feel like that's the point of Attack on Titan, is that it would be very one-dimensional for him to just be like, oh yeah, I'm just saying this to Ymir to manipulate her because I'm, like, mustache twirly and evil, right? Like, it would make more sense that Eren at the core, his fundamental belief is in freedom and not bowing down to anyone. And so I would actually say it's more compelling if this is genuine versus manipulation. If it's manipulation, Eren turns into like kind of a mustache twirling villain. If it's legitimate, that just means that like he is, you know, telling Ymir what he has always believed since the very beginning in that fight for freedom, because that's what Eren wants, right? So I think it's actually more dimensional for him to just want her freedom, genuinely want her to be free, because that is his goal for everyone. You know, so I actually would find that more compelling. And so it could be a mixture of both as well. You know what I mean? It could be a mix of both. So Eren has a good heart, question mark. I'm inclined to think he does have a good heart, question mark. You know what I mean? Were you the one who led me here? You've been waiting this whole time for 2,000 years for someone, right? And so that's like the message that he thinks. He thinks that Ymir has, you know, waited for him for 2,000 years. And that's why it's like the from you to you thing. Like, to you, 2,000 years into the future. Right? And then we have the from you 2,000 years ago. And so I wonder too, could Ymir have sent Eren a memory as well? Because like somebody posted a very interesting photo and it was Eren in episode 1 screaming. And then it was Eren in this episode screaming when he was like trying to break the chains and everything. And so like I kind of wonder, did Ymir send some sort of memory to Eren like for this to all happen? Like did she actually send for him? I don't know, right? And so then we see her finally open her eyes, which is just such an emotionally impactful scene. We see the tear fall down from her face, which I think is the same like side of when she was in the forest, right? And you see her clenched teeth because she has now been empowered to be free. The question is though, is she actually free in doing this because she chooses and she's just breaking like, you know, she's just like, okay, Zeke, I don't give a fuck. Sorry. Like, is she doing it for that reason or is she doing it because Eren's touching her and she doesn't actually have free will? Like, the free will is an illusion. We don't know. But yeah, it seems like she's gonna stick Eren's head back on, judging from this scene, and his eyes move too. And then the rumbling happens, right? And so this is really cool because now we kind of have an understanding of, like, time. Because, like, Armin and Mikasa are in the exact same position they were when everything stopped. And so now we kind of like get an idea of how this works. Like time doesn't exist in the paths. And so what Eren has done is he has like used the founding titan, like even though it's been like years and time has passed for them or like seemingly has passed, right? They've done other stuff. Even though they've done other stuff, Eren's action of like doing the rumbling happened in like literally the instant, like his head is still cut off here. So I think that people will now kind of understand like the timeline of things. Like the paths have no time. That's why Eren's just able to literally put his head back on as it's being cut off. And the rumbling is happening literally right where we left off, like in reality, right? And then we see Ymir and her like her stuff, I don't know, her ribs, I guess. And so like her ribs and stuff like that's in the OP. I love Reiner trying to save Gabby too. So like here's the information for public disclosure, which we should talk about really quick, okay? So, came into contact with something. What the fuck is that, right? It may have been some type of parasite, a god who pitied the founder Ymir and gave her power or something else entirely. See, so that's why I'm like, what if it was Eren? I know that that sounds a little weird, but I'm like, what if it was Eren? You know what I mean? Because like what if Eren used the power to create the power? I don't know. But like, it could just be something on Earth. It could just be magic. It could just be, you know, stuff like that, right? And so we don't really know, but I don't know. I would like to know though. You know, I'm one of those people that like to know. I know that it could be just like, there is no explanation. It's magic. Get used to it. You know what I mean? Like, I know it could be that, but I want to know. And I may want to know a little too much. I'm bad with stuff like that. I'm just like, okay, but where? Where did it come from? What is it? Tell me what species of parasite it. Like, I'm kind of like that. So anyway. So yeah. I love this because this is exactly like the OP, like the ribs and everything, right? And so Armin's happy because he's like, we won! Like, Eren has control of the founder. That's why the rumbling's begun. Eren was always on our side. Let's go, let's go. Like, Armin for like 5 seconds is happy. And then he realizes they shouldn't be happy. Maybe shouldn't be happy. And then we have Yelena being like, oh, Zeke lost. Right? I don't know how she's gonna react to that, right? And you see Mikasa's like, Eren came home to be with us. And I'm like, I don't think that was exactly why, but okay. But yeah, anyway, the point is that Armin is happy for 5 minutes and then he sees, wait, if he's just, you know, crushing the global alliance, we don't need to give up the other walls, so why is he giving up the other walls? And so they both realize that Eren is their ally, but is also doing something they probably aren't going to approve of, which I think is very interesting, right? Because it's like, yes, on one hand, yay! See, Eren didn't betray us. He wasn't going to betray us for Zeke. He was on our side all along. Wait, what does being on our side mean to Eren, right? Because Eren's on your side. Be careful what you wish for. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Like, yeah, Eren is on your side, but what do you think being on your side means to him? It means destroying the world, which they probably don't agree with, right? Which is pretty fucked. And so this also helps with the time thing too, because they're literally like, like frozen in reality. Like they're frozen in their positions where they are hearing the message. And so that kind of gives us like some time context, right? And so he's using the Founder's power to address all subjects of Ymir. And this is crazy. I've undone the hardening of Paradise's walls. And I love this because you see Gabby, she's just like on her knees, right? She's looking up and we don't even know if they can see the paths or not. Or she's like looking up because she was looking up before at all of the Titans coming out of the wall. And then Falco's literally just, he's on the ground. But anyway, and so yeah, my goal is to protect the people of Paradise Island, the place where I was born. And so we actually see like, it's not just, you know, the people on Paradise even. We actually see somebody over here with one of the Marley armbands, right? Actually, is this a red one or a gray one? It could be the lighting, but I'm not sure. Because a red one would mean it's somebody related to like Reiner, Falco, or Peck, right? I don't know. It's hard to tell with the lighting. I'm not actually sure. But anyway, and so the whole point of this, like, oh, actually, that may be a red armband because we see the gray one. So maybe I'm supposed to know this man. I don't know this man. He's probably somebody's parent, and I just can't remember. Maybe Gabby's dad. But yeah, and so we see more gray armbands back here, right? So the people, the world wants to exterminate my people, not just the island. Like, he's basically saying, yeah, you think it'll stop at Paradise? No, they want to exterminate all of you, right? Zeke kind of wanted to do that in a way, right? And so he's basically saying, yeah, you thought that you could just, you know, like live your lives and it was just Paradise and everybody else could live in peace? No, right? Like, they will come for you. So they will not stop until every last subject of Ymir is dead. And that's true because that's what Zeke wanted, right? If the Eldians can no longer reproduce, like, it will not stop, like, it will not stop until everyone's dead. Like, you know what I mean? All of the Eldians will die out. So he's even saying, like, but they is also kind of Zeke in a way, too. And you see Historia here in the rocking chair. She's kind of looking a little like Ymir in that scene, but without the bangs. I refuse to let them. The Wall Titans will trample every inch of this island, of the world beyond this island. Sorry, guys. I'm just so, like, hyped. I can't even see. I can't read anymore. This is such a good shot. God damn it. Okay, so here's the thing, right? So what does this mean? What is this going to mean, right? Because he says, like, until every last life beyond our shores is wiped out. So I have a couple ideas. A, he uses Ymir's power to teleport all subjects of Ymir to the island. That is what, to me, makes the most sense because, like, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? That's option one. Option two, he sees everybody else as, like, complacent. Like, oh, if you're an Eldian living in Marley, you have basically been against us this entire time. Like, you have been complacent. You have, like, thought that you were safe as long as you stayed over here, right? Like, you know what I mean? He may have a grudge against the Eldians all over the world because he may be like, or I guess the subjects of Ymir all over the world. Because, like, even in Marley, they kind of thought, like, oh yeah, like, they're going after Paradise. Well, you know, Paradise deserves it. We'll be here, right? Like, some people kind of had that attitude, right? And so I wonder if, two, Eren will be like, fuck y'all, right? I wonder if he'll just be like, fuck y'all, right? So one, he'll teleport all the subjects of Ymir to be on the island so they don't get killed. Because every inch past the island is getting destroyed. So that's no good, right? So that's one. He'll teleport everyone here. Two, he'll say, nah, it's your fault, bitch. You know what I mean? But I feel like that's not fair. You know what I mean? Like, those people didn't ask to be born there. You know, like, those subjects of Ymir didn't ask to be born there. So why are you just gonna let them die, Eren? Like, that's, you know, that's kind of weird. So I think that maybe the third option will be, is that he can't teleport everyone there because, I don't know, because reasons. And so next episode, we will see, like, a mad dash or something. You know what I mean? Like, we will see Eldians trying to run away from wherever they are to reach the island before they are destroyed. I don't know, though. I feel like it would make more sense. It makes more logical sense for Eren to teleport everyone to the island, quite honestly. Like, I feel like that's what makes more sense, because he has the power. What's stopping him from doing that? Is there no, like, you know, nobody ever said you can't teleport, right? And so I just think it's weird. Or will it be like a thing where all of the subjects of Ymir are, like, left alone? Like, because it could be that too, right? And they can make their way to the island afterwards. And so, yeah, those are some options here, because that's a very, biblical sort of, like, thing, right? Like, having to, I guess, exodus to a promised land, which is paradise. Like, the rest of the world will be destroyed beyond our shore, so come here, right? Like, having to physically go there, that's a very biblical thing. So if they have to physically go there and, like, make a mad dash for the island, that's, like, biblical thing one. Biblical thing two is, like, being left alone if you do something. That is also a very, like, biblical reference. Like, oh god, what is it? Like, in the Moses story, they all put the blood on the door so their firstborns won't die. Like, so the plague won't go in and kill, like, the firstborns. And so, like, only the firstborn of the king and then, like, the king's people die, like Ramesses, right? And so, like, that's, like, the thing in that one, right? And so it could also be that, like, do this and those colossal titans will not kill you. It could also be that, and then come to paradise after the world is destroyed. It could be, again, like, sort of like they need to travel on their own. It's two kind of different scenarios in terms of their traveling. Or he could just teleport everyone there, Why can't you teleport everyone there, Eren? Anyway. And so, yeah, so we basically have the Titans will not leave them alone. It's whoever makes it to the island is worthy, right? The Titans will leave them alone, but they have to make their own way to the island. Then there's Eren just manifesting everyone to just, like, pop and just be there. Because I think, why not? Why not? Unless, again, he doesn't respect, like, all of the people outside of the island, including the Eldians outside the island for some reason. But then why would he even address all the subjects of Ymir to tell them, hey, I'm destroying the rest of the world. Sucks for y'all, right? Like, it seems like it's a message to come to the island in some capacity. So I feel like that it makes sense to want to come to the island. I don't know. Like, anyway. And so here we see a preview of Gabby holding a gun. It seems like she may be saving Sasha's family, and so that would be a good, like, come full circle moment. She may have killed Sasha, but she saves their family from a Titan, right? The island walls are gone, right? And then we also see all of the Titans up in here. And so see, that's the other thing, is like, what if the whole thing is that now the Titans will not attack anyone who is a subject of Ymir, and that's why they're turning on, like, Yelena and the other guy. Like, maybe that could be what's happening. Is this Mikasa? This is a pretty cool shot regardless. Yeah, Mikasa's there killing some people. And the next episode is called Thaw, which I think is a reference to Annie again. And so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next episode. I just hope that Eren's not like, fuck all the people, fuck all the subjects of Ymir that aren't on our island. Like, I think it probably makes, I don't know, I mean, makes sense. Logic and emotion are two different things. Like, Eren could be like, nah, fuck all y'all. Sorry. Like, he could just not care about anybody outside of the island, and that includes the subjects of Ymir outside of the island. But I feel like he does. I feel like he does care. And so he must have a plan to, like, get them here without harm being done to them. I don't know, though. And so we'll see. I think Annie's coming back, though, bitch, because the next episode is called Thaw, right? And she is a subject of Ymir, so she would have heard everything. And I think that's fascinating. Maybe Eren's plan is that this will also, like, get the people to rise up, and they'll be like, there's a safe place on Paradise. Everyone is gonna die anyway. So let's, like, let's revolutionize and let's fuck up Marley with the Titans. That could be another thing, actually, right? If we're talking about, like, maybe those big Titans that were in the wall will leave the subjects of Ymir alone. Maybe that'll be the thing, is that if they leave the subjects of Ymir alone, Eren could be like, fight. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the Titans are coming, and they will bring you back. Like, they will bring you back. They will come collect you after they destroy everyone else. So, like, fight against your oppressors. We could do that too. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed my little discussion. I think that I covered everything I wanted to. We got Annie. Okay, we got Annie. We have, we got liminal spaces, we got fairy tales, we got Ymir's history, we have Eren possibly giving her the power in the first place, question mark. So I think that we're pretty good. I think we're pretty good, guys. But yeah, now, like, are they gonna want to stop Eren? But, like, it's too fucking late, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know where the rest of the show is going, I guess, is what I'm just thinking about. Because it's like, oh man, Eren's destroying the world. We gotta stop him, bro. Like, I don't think that, is that even possible? I guess you could stop the Titans dead in their tracks, right? I guess you could get Zeke to kick Eren out of the space and then get Ymir to do, like, the thing, you know what I mean? Get Ymir to, like, undo what Eren has done, but even Ymir's convinced by Eren at this point, it seems, so who knows? I don't know. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed. I'm wondering where things are going, because like if they're like, oh no, we have to stop Eren and like undo this and stop the Titans from destroying the world, like how would they even do that? You know what I mean? Like would they just kill him and then Ymir would stop doing what he wanted? Like I don't know. It just seems there's questions. I have questions, but yeah, we'll see. We'll find out. So I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed my discussion. Thank you for attending Calxyn's Royal Court today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.